Hello class, my name is Juan Gonzalez. Today I will be doing a demonstration of the tool SpiderFoot. My last tutorial I did a demonstration on active scanning, so based upon Dr. Bergman's instructions I'll be doing an open source intelligence demonstration today. So this is the page where you'll download it, spiderfoot.net / download. I have already downloaded the zip file to my Windows 7 machine in VMware. So I have unzipped the file, and to run it, you just click on the executable, and it'll direct you to go to this IP address, the socket address. So I've already done that, and this is the graphical interface that you use for SpiderFoot. It's a pretty simple tool to use with a lot of options. I have already ran a couple scans. As you can tell, you go to scans, it shows you all the scans that you already ran. I stopped these two scans on purpose, so this is error failed. But in reality, I have gotten some pretty good feedback from the modules that I ran with this tool. You can see actually all the information that I've been able to gather in a simple network diagram. You hover over this right here, and it pretty much gives you the information that it has discovered. But let me walk you through the interface as a whole. So obviously, if you want to name your scan, you could describe anything you want to do here. The target, it could be a domain name, an IP address, a host name or subdomain, or actually a subnet. In the case for today, since we're doing a passive scanning, I want to do a footprint so that we don't do a whole in-depth scan of a certain target. And if we go to settings, I actually have turned off the TCP port connection so that it doesn't turn into an active scanning tool. So I can show you right now. For scanning, I have asked the tool to do zero ports to try to open. And all the TCP ports, I have deleted them. So if you go back to reset to factory default, you have a bunch of ports that the actual tool would try to make connections to the target to. So let's go back to scans. I ran a scan on Fort.com, on usf.edu, and ucf.edu. And what we have come up with is information that the domain name actually shows up on whether it's with an internal domain, subdomain, so that domain, or externally, email addresses, HTTP headers, other URLs, and you could actually choose what to look for in a certain scan. So you could use by use case. So this is kind of like a default setting scans, default scripts that it runs. You could actually tell the tool if you want to look for something very specific, like IP addresses, content, blacklist IP addresses, connections to any social media sites, duplicate IP addresses, usernames, web content, web technology. And I know that a lot of the tools that we have learned in the class do a lot of this, but this SpiderFoot actually consolidates from a lot of sources like Shodan, Census.io, Bing, Yahoo, Google, and it queries all those databases for whatever information we want to look for. You can also go by modules, so the tool is broken down by modules, like I was saying, and you can select or deselect whatever module you want to run. You see Shodan, Yahoo, who is, so to give you IP addresses, who's the host, Twil's domain, um, and you can select how passive or how active you want to be in your scan. So let's go back to take a look at what a running scan looks like. So this shows you what it has found so far on a nice little graph. Accounts on external sites, domain name, IPv6 address, the internet name, internal URLs, information that has been found on search engines about 4.com. And these are all the scripts that have been run so far. So we go to browse, and we can look in detail that information has been found. So anything that has to do with forward, this tool looks for. Granted, it is a very lot of information to dig through, but it is gathering all the open source intelligence that you could gather on a specific target. Get that IPv6 address for different URLs. Web content. This is a little bit more in depth, but just wanted to show you the power of the tool. And like I said, there isn't any actual connection to any open ports, so it is not active per se. So you can run multiple scans in a row. It'll take a lot of processing power and whatnot, but it is up to you how you use the tool. Let's see what usf.edu came up with. So they found a malicious, potentially malicious IP address, but I'm not gonna go and click on it because if it is malicious, then I don't want to deal with that. Obviously, the domain name I was looking for usf.edu. Web technology. And this is all information that's open to pretty much the public. And this tool gathers from different sources. Let's go back to our scans. I think the ucf.edu has a little bit more information that we can dig through, just because it looked through 412 elements. Dug up one email address, tpbilling.ecf.edu, so that's something we can start with if we want to continue to dig. It looks like it has something to do with money, so that's always important to have information about money, if it's exposed or not, if we're doing some sort of penetration testing for security. We found some usernames, tpbilling again. web content information, some user accounts on external sites, which if we're doing a penetration test for security, we want to know where else is our domain being used, whether for um, benign or malicious purposes. So if you go to settings again, you could set up as much depth of a scan as you want, or the least. You could turn on or off the settings. But in summary, this tool pretty much digs through a lot of open source information to find almost everything that could be out there. It is up to you how much you limit it, um, especially in search engines. You can look through one page of search engine results or 1,000 pages, and this will give you the information and compile it for you in one graphical interface. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and if you get a chance to download the tool, install it and run it, so you could see for yourself how informative it could be.